man. Boop, boop. There you go. I like to check the mic. That's how I gotta check the mic right now. I'm sorry. It's just the way we got to do things now. Just mainly because sometimes I hook up the mic and it don't be working the way it's supposed to. But hello all and welcome to the Heel Turn Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah Jackson Jr. Look, sorry, sometimes I gotta end the stream and redo it because this part lags. So my intro will be playing, and then YouTube will have me just sitting here staring, have me pick my nose and doing a bunch of random stuff. And so I like to have both sides on. You know, I like to have both YouTube, but like a YouTube stream on, and of course me to see how the stream's going, just in case I'm lagging or just looking like a fool. But hello all and welcome to the Heel Turn Podcast once again. I'm your host, Isaiah Jackson Jr. Of course, we're going to get into AEW Dynamite that happened yesterday. I couldn't get out the AEW Heel Turn 30 last night. I just couldn't get out of work in time. And I knew as soon as I got home, I wasn't going to talk on the microphone. I was like, you got to make this up, and you got to make it up immediately. And so that's what we're going to do. You know, if I can't make it on certain days, and today, like, I have to go to work in literally an hour. Like, I have to go to work in literally an hour. So I can't be long-winded. We got to get the talking. We got to get the going because I definitely want to get out some content. And I got some things to say. You know, I got some things I definitely want to get off my chest because this AEW Dynamite wasn't bad. Like, it didn't suck. It didn't suck whatsoever. I thought it was actually pretty solid for what it was. And even looking at what took place, you know, MJF came out to gloat, of course, to talk his talk, but Brody King as well went face to face with MJF, and I thought that was really fun. You know, I think Brody King is just an absolute monster. I think he has one of the most devastating finishers in the wrestling today. You know, I think that's automatic. He has one of the most devastating finishers in wrestling today, and also, I'm here by myself. I want you guys to know that I'm here by myself. So if you guys see some rumbling in the back right there in that hallway, let a brother know. Just hit up the text. Huge shout out to Jordan Kirby, Izzy. You got some explaining to do. Ooh, what I do, brother? What's happening? What I got going on? What happened, man? And that's the thing. I felt like that's all I've been doing was explaining because I've been not really messing up, but we've been trying to get back into the daily grind. And to get into the daily grind, we got to pretty much explain to y'all what's going on, which is why we got the Heel Turn 30 now, just making it 30 minutes. You know, in more ways than one. Huge shout out to the boy Justin. What's good, my guy Justin? Love you, brother. Subscribe to not only Circle of Debate, but follow the man that takes no days off whatsoever. Your boy Justin, man. Look, Circle of Debate, of course, they're a whole lot of fun. They're welcoming, of course. It's like as soon as you text them, it's like a hug. You know, it's like an immediate hug. You know, it's you never will feel any more accepted and invited, you know, in a group, you know, other than Circle of Debate, of course, are just all around great individuals. And not only that, of course, they have to go Justin. You know, it's like, of course, they have to go Justin. And by the way, huge shout out to Jordan Kirby. Justin, why is your profile picture a South Park version of yourself? Hey, I think it's hard. I think it's kind of hard. I think it's really cool. I kind of like it, Justin. I kind of fuck with it. Not even kind of fuck with it. I do fuck with it. It's like I do fuck with it. And he says, because, you know, it's like, because Jordan, that is all. As soon as I read that, the first thing I thought of was The Rock, because it just walks away. But it just immediately, no, just immediately. But it's good to hear from you guys. Love you, brothers. Man, it's been a minute. It's been a hot minute, and honestly, I just missed y'all. You know, it's just like, I just missed y'all heavily. All right, okay. I'm sorry. I'm done with the glaze. Boing. I'm done with the glaze. I'm done with the glaze. But it was a long story with MJF. Like MJF, I don't think this. Oh, and even going to Jordan Kirby's question, who will beat MJF? That's a great question right now. I have no idea. You know, even though this could be a buildup between him and Omega, because you know I don't think Omega has a good amount of years left in him. Talking about wrestling wise, career wise. Like if you list all his injuries, I mean the guy almost died, you know, a couple years ago. So I don't think Kenny Omega, is going to be fighting for a very long time. I think he's going to go on one last run, and MJF, of course, being the guy that he is going to shatter that. It's like it's going to shatter all that. At least that's my prediction. That's where I kind of see this going, at least at some point in time. MJF, because I do see MJF holding this title for a really long time. Not really long time, for a decent time. For pretty much the same amount of time he held it the first reign. And honestly, give it to me. It's like, give it to me. We need more of that. And I like the way he handled Brody King. It's like, you're all bark and no bite, man. And even I thought this was really cold. This kind of brings you back to, like, now granted, I wasn't alive during territory days, but this is kind of what I envisioned. People in their promos, like wrestlers in their promos, coming out on television, with the microphone in their face. Hey, I am your champion. I am your true champion. MJF said, if you are watching wrestling and there is not this AEW champion, that is not the top wrestling. That is pretty much not the top pinnacle of wrestling today, and you need to click off. It's just like, you're not watching me, you're not watching AEW, therefore you need to click off. Like, of course, I'm like fumbling it, but the way MJF just like came out with it, I thought was just pretty cold. I think, like, I feel like that's so old school. He's like, I'm the true champion, I'm your guy. If you're watching anybody else that's not me, I'm sorry. Not only are you lame, not only should you be ashamed of yourself, but you should be ashamed of the wrestling that's taking place there. It's like, I don't know. Like, I just thought MJF was just so cold. I really like MJF. Then he's like, hey, man, you need to get out of my face before I get mad. What I'm saying? And then, of course, Brody King hulks up on him, or at least, gets big on him. And MJF has to get up out of there, man. And MJF, I can't wait to see. I can't wait and see how this is going to turn out. Huge shout out to Justin. I feel like it's going to be Ospreay to dethrone MJF. Ospreay said he's aiming to be back sometime this year. If they have any shows in the UK later in the year, that's the best place for it to happen. Ooh, I do love me some Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay made me a huge fan throughout his AEW run, because, like I said, that's pretty much all I've seen. Of course, I still got to look back. I'm actually thinking about coming back, doing like a small, like, little series about just watching everybody's old matches. Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada. I seen Kazuchika Okada versus AJ Styles. I thought that was a banger. Oh my god. I'm gonna rewatch that and then talk about it again, because I just watched that randomly when I was under the influence. I was like, I just watched that randomly. Like, let me just watch an AJ Styles Okada match, and that was a banger. That was a classic. But okay, but I'm sorry. But to get out all of that, MJF, of course, still showing that he's still a scumbag, but hey, my scumbag, our scumbag, he, she, me scumbag. It's like, so I do love me some MJF. I don't love me some. I'm just not a fan of Speedball Mike Bailey. I'm sorry. Now, this is gonna sound awful. Don't clip me. Do not clip me when I say this. But I did not have a problem with Horsecock. I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't have a problem with it at all. I'm sorry. I thought that name was kind of hard. I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's just like, I thought the name was pretty cool. Of course, you can't go with that. But I'm just not a Speedball Mike Bailey fan. And of course, yes, I listen to Jim Cornette, but Jim Cornette is not an influence on me. It's like, there's some things that he says that I'm like, yeah, I agree with heavily. There's a lot of things that I'm like, okay, you're tweaking. You're just the old fart. It's like, but that's one of the reasons why I bring it up, because I feel like a lot of people, when you bring up guys like Speedball Mike Bailey, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and I like Kenny Omega. Like, Kenny Omega won me over after Brawl for All, when everything pretty much blew up and took place, and he was just like, man, I'm just gonna wrestle. Like, it's just like, I know all y'all, I got problems, but at the end of the day, like, I'm here to have fun. I'm here to wrestle. It's just like a huge shout out to Justin. Speedball on some suspect type ish. Look, I'm sorry. I'm glad he got cut off. But look, I mean, I wouldn't mind just on their way to the ring at a combined weight at 798 pounds. Please prepare to get out of the way for Horsecock. Horsecock, everybody. It's like, and honestly, yeah, no, it's the same as that is. That's nuts. That's nuts. You're tripping. You're tripping, Speedball Mike Bailey. I'm sorry. That's something I just can't go for. Huge shout out to C Fluid driving home from work and wanted to say what's up and hit that like, sir. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you as well. I used one of your texts on our videos for our social clips. And honestly, like, there's a decent amount of people on TikTok and even a couple people that DM'd me that was asking where can we find the YouTube channel. And I was like, this is actually pretty nice. I was like, huge shout out to C Fluid. We actually had Justin too as well. We used a couple clips from Justin. We had a text from Justin because Justin said, oh man, what did he say? He said Ricochet was just there. Like, he was just average. I forgot what he said. He said Ricochet was just average. Just an average guy. I forgot how he phrased it, but that one was actually pretty funny. That took off, and we had a lot of conversations with that. Justin talking about just wrestling in general, period. Oh man, just the state of wrestling. That had a lot of conversation to it. So just huge shout out to you guys as well. Also, I've liked Speedball, but he's been losing so much. I feel the same way about Kevin Knight. I'm like, man, I love me some Kevin Knight, but man, can you get a dub by yourself? Like, I'm talking about a 1v1 dub. Like, I ain't tag team. Okay, you guys are cool. Like, but 1v1. One thing that I really liked was Samoa Joe chopping the absolute dog shit out of Speedball. That was just absolutely fire. I was like, it was one of those things. As soon as he yanked him out, just bop. I'm sorry, I didn't mean the voice crack. Let me say it like a man. As soon as he swing him out there, just bop, and then instantly, like, you just see him just looking at the fans. What? Like, you want this too? You want this? And that's one of the reasons why I just don't want to be a wrestler. I feel like, or in the wrestling business, because I feel like, yeah, I'm a manager, that's cool and all, but like, it's gonna be one of those days where I'm like, all right, Izzy, I'm gonna yank you off the apron, then I'm just gonna chop the absolute dog shit out of you. That can't happen. we can't let that happen. We cannot let that happen as a community, even though it would be nice. But man, he got the dog shit chopped out of him. Jesus Christ. And Speedball Mike Bailey lost, of course. I didn't see him going up against Samoa Joe and winning. But yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with Justin that Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight has been losing a lot. But we're gonna get into Kevin Knight a little bit later. And I love that Swerve Strickland has been giving him the rub as of late. That's in and outside the ring. Because even outside the ring, he's like, yeah, you a dog, but it's kind of like, oh man, like Kevin Knight. And I'm sorry, you guys, I don't mean to bring this into basketball terms, but for those that don't know, there's a basketball player named Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal, of course, I actually met him before. Bradley Beal. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, two quick tangents. Long story short, I actually met Bradley Beal. I was working for the TV station, and my boss had an interview with him. So they did an interview, and I was the cameraman just sitting there, and then afterwards, my boss had a Coming to America hat, the movie. And so he says, hey, do you know my hat? And Bradley Beal's like, no. And he was like, my producer doesn't know either. And me and Bradley are like, we don't know. And my boss was like, you guys have never seen Coming to America, Eddie Murphy? And me and Bradley Beal are looking at each other like, no, we've never seen it. He's like, you guys are and my boss, a Caucasian man, and he's tripping. Like, he's like, y'all never seen Coming to America. Me and Bradley Beal are just like cracking up, like no. Like, it wasn't like a oh Bradley, like it was just like a no, like, like we never seen it type. But it was pretty cool. Like, Bradley Beal was a cool dude. Outside of that, okay, getting back into it. Kevin Knight and Swerve Strickland remind me of Bradley Beal because the way Swerve Strickland is talking to Kevin Knight reminds me of how Bradley Beal was talking to the younger kids, the youth, in one of the camps. Because I believe it was a camp where, now I could be getting the story wrong, but I guess they weren't playing up to Bradley Beal's liking, or there was a couple kids like messing around. Bradley Beal just told him straight up, hey, you guys think you guys are hot now. You guys think you guys are cold. But once you get into the league, all that's over because y'all got to run into me. And you don't want to run into me. So you guys better get it together because I ain't going, he was like, I made my money. I'm cool. I'm chilling. But y'all coming up here trying to take my spot. He's telling these 17, 16-year-olds, like, and he's cussing them out. Like, he's like, y'all, if y'all think y'all cool now, bring that up to the NBA because then y'all gonna have to bring up to me. And y'all don't want to bring that up to me. Like, oh, and that's kind of how I see like Swerve Strickland talking to Kevin Knight, like, yeah, you cold, you hard, But I was an AEW champion. I was the first African American AEW champion. And I eat 5 cheeseburgers a day. You know, it's like, and I got, and I'm a little hefty. You know, it's like hefty. I'm ready, man. Like, I love that with the Swerve, Strickland, and Kevin. And I'm sorry to make that long story and long tangent, but that's kind of how I just like the story of it all, between the two. I just think it's really cool. And it's coming up on February. I'm sorry I had to throw that in there. Joe, you shout out to Justin. Joe chopped Speedball so hard he wanted to put his shoes on. That's crazy. Joe chopped Speedball so hard he wanted to put his shoes on. I'm telling you, man, that was disgusting. Like, you can't play that off. You can't play that off at all. Huge shout out to Prince. What's up, y'all? How you living, brother? He also says nobody's running into Beal. He's always injured. Okay, this was when he was with the Wizards. This was Washington Wizards Bradley Beal talking this spicy to high schoolers. This wasn't Phoenix Suns Bradley Beal. This wasn't where's he at now? Los Angeles Clippers Bradley Beal. This was Washington Wizards fully healthy, averaging 25 points per game Bradley Beal. Until then, he went to Phoenix and his life got destroyed. Not life got destroyed. Let me stop right there. But, they threw him under the bus. They threw Kevin Garnett. They threw Kevin Durant under the bus too. But, they ain't going to throw their golden child, Devin Booker, under the bus. And that pisses me off so much. Devin Booker. Wrestling, Isaiah. It's AEW Dynamite. You got 20 minutes left. You got 20 minutes left to get all this out because I do got to go to work. I gotta go to work in an hour. I live 10 minutes away, so I gotta wrap this up in about 20 minutes. The Death Riders took on the Don Callis family. I felt like this match was just excessively long, insanely long, but it was cool. But it was cool. I thought Daniel Garcia actually got a lot of offense in as well. I think Daniel Garcia is looking really hype with the Death Riders. I'm still not sold. He's just like a tier above Wheeler Yuta, so I don't really, see him as nothing too crazy. But I still am kind of warming up to Daniel Garcia in the Death Riders. And a huge shout out to John Moxley as well. They get the job done, of course. And he's still showing that, even with the crowd behind them, like, he's still showing that, hey, I'm still a dog. I don't give a damn. I'm still a wild animal here. And he's telling them is that, hey, bring your best man. Tell the big man to come my way. Because he already took care of Okada. He got that job done. And so a huge shout out to John Moxley and the Death Riders. Look, I don't mind Marina Shafir either. I don't mind Marina Shafir. I think she's pretty cool. I don't really have she's not my type. It's like she's not necessarily my type. But I do like Marina Shafir. And she's been choking out everybody. What's it called? Mommy's milk or mother's milk? Jesus Christ. Like, I heard that. I was like, oh my goodness. Oh Lord. I was like, it was roused for me. Mother's milk? Jeez. I was like, maybe I am attracted to Marina. I was like, maybe I am attracted to Marina Shafir. I don't know. I was like, but okay, let me stop calling it. Okay. Respectfully. The Roderick Strong, please don't hurt me. I'm an innocent. I'm not a pedestrian. I'm a civilian. I'm a civilian. Look, but FTR versus Alec Price and Jordan Oliver. This match pretty much went the way you expected it. I'm glad to see Big Stoke. No holes, but hey, he got a wheelchair. So hopefully the holes will feel some sort of empathy. I don't see it happening, but hopefully the holes, can give some empathy to your boy Big Stoke. However, Haywood and Harwood, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler beat Price and Oliver by pinfall, of course, and just a solid match, a solid performance by FTR. I really don't care too much about the tag division all the way. Huge shout out to Justin, still not on board with the Death Riders. 9 months of holding an AEW title hostage and saying you want to kill the company just to win the Continental title and randomly turn face. Yeah, I do agree with that. And it's random. It was out of no. Even when we were at World's End, we were like, "Are you guys cheering?" Like we were looking around. I'm like, "Are you guys cheering for John Moxley?" Like, this is crazy. I wanted Kyle Fletcher to win, honestly. And then, of course, you got Okada versus Moxley. I did want to see Konosuke Takeshita win, but since Okada won, I was like, okay, I kind of figured that, you know, if he's gonna take a loss, it's gonna be to at least the goat of AEW, Jon Moxley. If you guys don't think Jon Moxley's the goat of AEW, then like I don't know. And nobody said he wasn't, like, honestly, but I just think that's automatically set in stone. Like he stepped into the scene pretty much the first one fresh from WWE, like outside of Chris Jericho, who was pretty much already gone like for a split minute. You know, Cody Rhodes, who was already gone for a split minute. You know, you had Jon Moxley, you had Dean Ambrose, who was already like, man, I'm sick of this. Like, I'm sick of this WWE shit. You know, I was like, I'm out of here. He goes to AEW's breaking out of prison. We get to see the Jon Moxley character. And I'm pretty sure all of us remember like it was yesterday. You know, can I get a thank you? You know, you got Chris Jericho out. Can I get a thank you? You know, just out in the ring. And of course, Jon Moxley just waddles his way in. And of course, many championships follow that afterwards. But man, I definitely agree with Justin holding the title hostage. I still see Jon Moxley as a heel, but at least now seeing him, you know, tap a couple times, seeing him look a little human, you know, kind of makes things a little bit easier. And I can understand why people root for him as well. Like I said, I do think Kenny Omega and Josh Alexander, the match with the way we all thought we expected would as well. And I thought, they fought like they hated each other. Like Kenny Omega, whoever it is on the Don Callis family, Kenny Omega is fighting you like you're the final boss, you know. And it's like, and all of this just to put his hands on Don Callis. That's all he wants to do, is put his hands on Don Callis. And like, honestly, like I said, I wasn't a Kenny Omega fan because like I was out early on. Yeah, I can admit I was Jim Cornette brainwashed. Like after looking at Kenny Omega's matches and after seeing, I'm the promos I don't really care for. The good night, bang, kisses, hugs, good night, let me hug you. No, I don't give a damn about that. You know, it's like I think that's weird. You know, it's like I don't think it's weird. I'm not a fan of it. I don't think it's weird. I could correct that. Like I don't want to think like, you know, Isaiah's think like Kenny Omega's creepy. Like, no, it's nothing like that. I just don't shoot me. Don't kiss me and then shoot me. It's like I'd rather not. But you got the timeless love bombs taking on Megan Bain and Penelope Ford, which also just brings me back, of course, to Mommy's Milk. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the last thing. But we've seen Toni Storm, Mina Shirakawa, who ate the pin. Who, of course, you know, if Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa, if they're in a match and so they're gonna lose, and you know, one of them gonna take the pin. You know, it's like huge shout out to C Fluid. Who has more members, Wu-Tang Clan or the Don Callis family? Man, it's looking like the Don Callis family, man. The Don Callis family is looking more like the NWO, man. NWO, they would be in WCW. Are you breathing? Are you somewhat cool? Can you somewhat talk? All right, come on, all right. Let's have a couple beers. Put this NWO shirt on, sure. You know, it's like, go ahead. Why not? Like, they treat it. And yeah, man, we'll say, yeah, that's the thing, man. Don Callis guy, it's an overabundance, man. Overabundance. It is sickly. What was I getting to? Well, like I said, I already talked about Penelope for Mina Shirakawa and Toni Storm. Timeless Toni Storm. I do love the dance moves. The dance moves are looking pretty fire. And Marina Shafir is still showing that she's still at the thorn in the side of Toni Storm as well. Then we got Swerve Strickland versus Kevin Knight, man. I do think it was a hard hitting match, high flying as well. Swerve was just absolutely electric in this match, but of course, so was Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight knew what was on the line, and they put on an absolute banger. Just an absolute banger, man. It was a cold hurricanrana. We saw coast to coast, you know, as well. So it was like I said, high flying, while of course keeping it. I won't necessarily say safe. I would just say nobody got hurt. You know, it was like they fought a hard hitting match that was still high flying, and Swerve hit every finisher in the book to get Kevin Knight out of there. Huge shout out to Justin. Sucks because eating pins is all it feels like Mina was brought in for. Man, I'm sorry. Respectfully, I hope that's not the only thing she'd be eating, man. Okay, that was out of pocket. I'm sorry. That was out of pocket. That was out of pocket. I'll take that back. Rewind. Rewind. Let's pretend like that didn't happen. Yeah, I do agree that Mina Shirakawa, that's all she's there for. It seems like when it comes to Tony Storm, they're there to have their teasing, their lesbian tease angle, and then they lose. Then they go out there, or Tony Storm, they take the win, they dance around Walter, and they leave. It's just like it's stupid. It's stupid. I'm getting slightly irritated with it because I know they could do way more. Tony Storm needs a break. I feel like the timeless gimmick is wearing thin at this point. She's been doing it for about 2 years now, and I feel like it's the same thing. It's just the same thing over 2-3 years now, and it's been pretty much the same thing over and over again. If not that, just take some time off. Take some time off. How can we miss you if you don't go away? That's how it is. But even then, like I love me some Kevin Knight. I love me some Kevin Knight. But same situation with Speedball Mike Bailey. Same situation how it was with Mark Briscoe for a split second before he started winning titles. It's like you're so cold, you're so fire, you got the crowd behind you. We love everything you do, but you cannot win to save your life. And if you do win, it's probably by some bull. And so it's just like, they make it so hard. It's like they just make it so hard. Is Hikaru Shida, who shot out to Prince? Is Hikaru Shida still in AEW? I definitely think so. I was like, I definitely think so. I haven't seen anything that he was like released or anything. Huge shout out to Justin. The whole objective of having Kevin Knight in the main event was to make him look good, even in the loss, which they definitely did. Yeah, and I understand that, but I feel like but with me and at least seeing Kevin Knight, I like his matches. I like everything he does. It's kind of like a Javon, not because Javon Evans has been winning a decent amount, but it's kind of like put a Javon Evans in a situation where you love everything he does. You like the work that he puts in, but you're not seeing the wins. In tag, in tag team matches, of course, you're seeing a different outcome with him and Speedball. And of course, with trios, you're seeing a different outcome with Horsecock. But outside of that, in terms of one-on-one competition, man, like it's just irritating. It's just irritating. Not seeing your go-tos. Not necessarily say your go-tos. Kevin Knight's not my go-to, but I guess you could say at least me personally, a fan favorite. As you said with Speedball Mike Bailey, just not really doing too much. Man, not really seeing a whole lot of success on the winning side of things. Huge shout out to Justin. Sheeta's still in AEW. She's just been back in Japan since AEW has nothing for her. Yep, man. Dang, man, that sucks. AEW, but we can't act like WWE don't go through that same thing. Like, where the hell was Austin Theory? Where the hell was Austin Theory at? I'm sorry, I just read this message. Horse what? Horse what? You didn't hear it? You didn't hear the name. It was Speedball Mike Bailey, Kevin Knight, Hangman Adam Page. Of course, with a name like Hangman, the team got to be called Horsecock. It's got to be. Like, it's got to be. This is coming from Speedball Mike Bailey. This is not coming from Isaiah Jackson Jr. Maybe a little bit, but Speedball Mike Bailey for sure has some inkling in this. But yes, Horsecock. See, Sussball Mike Bailey. There's your proof there, Prince. There's your proof. Sussball Mike Bailey. Because I didn't see the whole clip itself. I just read the comment section that Speedball was trending, and it was like Speedball underneath Horsecock. I was like, well, okay. if that's what needs to happen, if that's what you want the tag team, the trios tag team to be, then yeah, it was too many T's for me, pal. But sure, so be it. So that's what I'm calling. That's what I'm calling them. That's gonna be the name here, of course. That we're keeping it up here at the Heel Turn. But that was AEW Dynamite, man. That was a whole lot of fun. That was the Heel Turn 30. We got it done in 30. We got it done in 30, man. A huge shout out to you guys. I actually got to come back home and do some Chicago Bulls work. You guys can find that on Bulls Digest on YouTube. Pretty much gonna be talking about the Chicago Bulls, if they can pretty much continue to sustain themselves and continue to get themselves together. and what has been a sloppy season. They take on the Minnesota Timberwolves today. I'm pretty sure they're going to get blasted, so I'm going to talk about that. I got to be honest. And honestly, Kobe White might be traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves too, so he might be looking at his future team. If we're being honest, you gotta say no Diddy, bro. Huge shout out to Prince. I might have to. I don't know. I might just skip it all together. I might just say it and move on. And just forget it even happened. But honestly, that was AEW Dynamite. I gotta get ready for work, man. I got 4 minutes until I'm out the door, and I got 5 minutes until I'm technically late. So technically, I got 10 minutes left. Technically, I got 10 minutes left to get up out of here. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for joining in, having a whole lot of fun. If you guys haven't already, follow Justin, subscribe to the Circle of Debate, of course. And also, huge shout out to everybody that's joined in the chat. You got Prince as well. Huge shout out to Justin. Jordan Kirby slid in as well. So even if you see them on social media, give them a shout out. Like, not a shout out. Give them a follow. Give them a like on their platforms, because we all put in a great amount of hard work, into not even in content creating, but you see all the crazy stuff that gets said about Weezy and them. And we talked about that. You know what? I'll talk about that later. Huge shout out to Justin. Join us for TNA Impact Watch Along tonight, everyone. Yes. Thank you so much, Justin. I'm gonna leave that there, for the time being. Huge shout out to Justin. Circle of Debate. Join us for TNA Impact Watch Along tonight. So be aware of that. That's on Circle of Debate. Trust me, you don't want to miss that, because even then, like, Justin and the guys, they'll talk to you, they'll communicate with you, they'll have a whole lot of fun. But even in the chat, the chat's always loaded, and you're gonna meet some fun people there. Hell, I met a couple people from Indiana. There's too many people that me and Devin have met from Illinois. So like, huge shout out to everybody at Circle of Debate. Thank you so much, Justin. Thank you for getting the word out there. So if you guys aren't doing nothing tonight, TNA Impact Watch Along tonight, join Circle of Debate. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow for Friday Night SmackDown. And trust me, I have work tomorrow. If I'm not there, huge shout out to C Fluid as well. C Fluid, man, appreciate you, brother. Says great stream. Huge shout out to Prince. Shout out to Justin. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm talking too much. I got to get out of here. And we'll see you guys next time.